Why does your motivation for daily habits always run out? Imagine trying to push through a stubborn morning workout routine day after day. You start strong, but by midweek, that fire dims. It's not just you losing steam. Motivation naturally fades because it's tied to feelings, not systems. Why does motivation disappear? And how can discipline and habits keep you moving when motivation won't? Most guides stop there, but motivation is just one piece. After this, the next time you face a slump, you'll understand how to keep going. Not by waiting to feel motivated again, but by setting up your mind and actions differently. Motivation's natural cycle. Ever notice how your energy to stick with a morning workout can burn out fast? You start Monday morning pumped, lacing up your sneakers, imagining the results. By Friday, skipping feels easier than showing up. Here's the deal: motivation isn't a steady flame. Abraham Maslow, a key figure in motivation psychology, showed us that motivation follows a hierarchy of needs. It flares up in response to what you want or need right now. And those wants shift every day. When you first begin, the idea of change excites you because you're hitting new levels of need, maybe health or self-esteem. But once the newness fades, so does that spark. Your brain moves on to whatever feels urgent or rewarding at that moment. That's why motivation tends to run out before your habit sticks. Knowing this stops you from blaming yourself. It's not weakness. It's your brain's wiring, working exactly as Maslow described. Instead, focus on what's really pushing you to lace up each day. Is it the hope of better health, or just avoiding feeling guilty? That difference changes how long you'll keep going. Here's the thing: after your next workout, write down why you wanted to show up. Not vague stuff, but something real. Like, I want to breathe easier on my hikes, or I want to keep up with my nephew. Hold on to that reason. It's your fuel when the initial buzz disappears. But what if your needs shift faster than you expect? How do you keep the fire alive when your goals start to feel distant? That's where motivation's natural cycle begins to get tricky. Needs shape what drives you. But here's the thing: your motivation always starts with the basics. Imagine trying to chase a promotion while your rent is overdue. Your brain isn't focused on climbing the career ladder. It's locked on survival. It's wired to meet the first needs on the list: food, shelter, safety, connection. Clayton Alderfer called these existence and relatedness needs when he introduced ERG theory as a more flexible take on Maslow's hierarchy. If those aren't covered, nothing else sticks. If you're stressing about bills or feeling lonely, pushing through that routine feels like walking uphill in boots full of sand. That's because your brain's spotlight hasn't moved beyond the fundamentals. David McClelland also showed that your needs shift between achievement, affiliation, and power, depending on what's missing or pressing in your life. Try this. Before forcing yourself into your stubborn workout, check in on what's missing. Are you sleeping enough? Eating well? Feeling connected to someone? Identifying which need is unmet is your way to clear the fog. You don't just push harder. You address what's holding you back. What if motivation needed two things? One is basic needs. But what's the other? That's where it gets interesting. Work motivation needs two things. You're sitting at your desk, staring at another endless spreadsheet. Snide comments float from the break room. Emails pile up faster than you can clear them. You want to keep going, but your motivation is draining. Frederick Herzberg, a key figure in motivation research, introduced a simple but powerful idea known as the two-factor theory. He said motivation at work depends on two things: decent conditions and meaningful challenges. Without decent conditions, your brain senses danger or boredom and pulls back energy. These are what Hertzberg called hygiene factors: pay, job security, and your physical workspace. They don't boost satisfaction, but their absence drags you down. Without meaningful challenges, your day feels like running on a treadmill. No progress, no spark. These motivating factors include recognition, responsibility, and achievement. Imagine trying to keep a morning workout routine with worn-out shoes and the same flat route every day. You might start, but it's brutal to keep going. Fixing only one side won't work. You can't expect motivation if your office feels toxic, but the job is exciting. Or if your workspace is great, but every task feels like copy-pasting. You need both a good environment and purpose to keep the fuel flowing. Be honest. Find one small change that improves your space or mood. Open a window. Take a quick walk outside, or tune out a distracting chat. Then pick a challenge that pushes your skills a bit. Volunteer to lead the next report or learn a shortcut in your software. This combo wakes up your brain and stops motivation from running dry. But what if tasks still feel forced, even with those tweaks? That's where things get tricky. Why do some duties kill your drive no matter what? That's the next puzzle. Why forced tasks kill drive? You ever notice how being told to do a chore you hate makes you stall, scroll your phone, or find every excuse not to start? But if you pick that same chore yourself, it hits different. That's because motivation crumbles when work feels forced. Douglas McGregor, who proposed Theory X and Theory Y, explained this well. Theory X assumes people dislike work and must be pushed. Theory Y, which McGregor favored, sees people as naturally motivated and creative when given autonomy. When someone else makes the call, your brain flips the switch from willing to resisting. It's not some mysterious lack of willpower. It's basic psychology. You're wired to push back against things that feel like obligations, especially if they don't tap into why you care. Think about your morning workout routine. If you force yourself just because it's on the schedule, it feels like a battle every time. But if you tweak it to fit your mood, like swapping a run for a walk or choosing music that pumps you up, you give yourself a bit of choice. Suddenly, you're not just pushing through. You're moving with some kind of intention. That shift alone keeps motivation alive longer. Start by finding one small way to own your task today. Pick the order you tackle things or add something you enjoy alongside. Motivation isn't about grinding through resistance. It's about making the task feel less like a command and more like your move. But here's the twist. Even when you find that freedom, frustration can sneak back and drag old habits into play. That part, I'm holding back until the close. Frustration brings old needs back. Now, when you hit a wall practicing a skill or pushing through that stubborn morning workout, frustration sneaks in. Your brain reacts by shifting gears. Instead of chasing progress, it craves social connection, the kind you get from hanging out with friends. Imagine you're trying to nail a guitar riff. After an hour of fumbling, you close the case and suddenly want to text your buddies or scroll through social feeds. That urge isn't just distraction. It's your brain switching priorities. This taps into what Socrates once discussed about hedonism, how we naturally seek pleasure and avoid pain. When growth stalls, your mind signals a need for belonging and support. That craving pulls energy away from your goal. Recognizing this cycle changes the game. You don't have to fight it or feel guilty for wanting a break. Plan social time right after tough sessions or set a timer for practice. Then reward yourself with a call or coffee with a friend. It's a reset button, not a derailment. This way, you keep momentum without burning out. Next, you'll see how discipline holds up when motivation fades, and why it's the real secret to pushing forward. Discipline outlasts motivation. Ever wonder why some days you can't drag yourself out for that stubborn morning workout? Here's the thing. Motivation feels like a flame. It sparks quick, but flickers fast. That's why relying on motivation alone leaves you stuck, staring at the ceiling instead of lacing sneakers. Now, think about brushing your teeth at night. You don't debate it. No pep talks needed. It's a habit carved so deeply, your brain switches to autopilot. That same autopilot can carry you through workouts, writing sessions, or whatever you want to build. The secret? Small, consistent habits. Say you commit to just 5 minutes on the treadmill each morning. Not an hour, just 5. You do it every day, no questions asked. Those 5 minutes grow roots. Over weeks, you don't need motivation to start. The habit pulls you along. You turn willpower into momentum. This shifts the game from fighting your mood to riding a current. What if your routines didn't depend on how you feel? What if they ran in the background like brushing your teeth? You'd stop burning out, stop quitting. Start here. Pick one tiny action toward your goal and do it at the same time every day. 5 minutes max, no exceptions. Watch what happens when you stop waiting for motivation to show up. But what if habit alone isn't enough to keep that drive alive? How do you stay hooked when routines feel robotic? That's where something bigger comes in next. Autonomy fuels lasting drive. Here's the deal with pushing through a tough morning workout. It rarely sticks if you don't feel in control. Imagine dragging yourself to the gym just because someone said you should. Your motivation crashes fast. Now picture this. You pick up your guitar after work. Not because anyone told you to, but because you love how a chord sounds under your fingers. You keep playing because you get better, and that feels good. That's autonomy at work. Feeling capable, connected, and like you're calling the shots sparks a kind of motivation that lasts. It's called intrinsic motivation. It's why kids keep drawing long after crayons lose their shine. They do it because they want to, not because they have to. When you set goals around what you control, you tap into that steady drive. Say you hate mornings, but want to build strength. Instead of forcing 5 a.m. gym sessions, you choose evening bodyweight exercises at home. You'll stick with that more because you own it. You can't force lasting motivation with outside rewards or pressure. It has to come from inside. So how do you find the right balance between control and challenge that actually keeps you going? That's where the reframe comes in. You asked why your motivation for daily habits always runs out. The answer is simple. Motivation depends on shifting needs and fleeting feelings. When you wake up pumped, it's because something inside you craves change or reward. But that feeling fades. Your brain moves on to the next thing. That's natural. What keeps you going isn't motivation, it's discipline and habits. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. Habits lock in your routines so actions happen without thought. Imagine saving $20 every week. Motivation might push you once, but habits make that saving automatic, month after month. Pick one habit to own today and build from there. That's how you outlast motivation.